welcome to Dirtbike's video series, the 22s. Now we have the 2022 KTM 250 SXF. It's the first of our 2022 models, and it's already in dealers, and we've already had one on the track. This bike has very few changes beyond the graphics and the orange frame, but we didn't expect KTM to make major changes anyways. For years now, the KTM 250 SXF has been the lightest bike in the 250 class. It also has been the bike with the best peak power, the best brakes, the best clutch, and so on and so on. For some people, that all adds up to an inevitable conclusion. The KTM 250 SXF is the best bike in the class. But if you remember our 2021 250 shootout, you might recall that most riders preferred the Yamaha over the KTM. It's heavier and slower, but it had some elements that some riders really connected with. It was the closest and most hard-fought shootout in recent history. Even though it didn't win, riders basically loved the KTM, and they still do. The power is very smooth, and it revs to a zillion. On the Pro Circuit dyno, it tops out at 44.2 horsepower. For whatever reason, it does even better than the Gas and the Husky, which use the exact same motor. On the track, however, some riders say that the KTM feels a little lazy down low, regardless of what the dyno says. This is more about the way dynos work. When a bike is tested on the bench, the throttle is wide open from bottom to top. No one actually rides that way. We all roll the throttle on rather than whack it open. The KTM motor, as it turns out, likes to be wide open and doesn't especially tolerate half-hearted efforts. The pro solution, of course, is to be more aggressive. Twist the throttle harder and rev the bike higher. The KTM runs so well on top that there's no reason to ride around in the low revs. Contrary to what you might think, the power band is actually quite wide, but it goes from high to higher. When you get to the peak, you'll know. The SXF doesn't suddenly stop like many 250 four-strokes, but it does taper off quickly before it goes into stutter mode. Then there's gearing. You can increase the rear sprocket by as much as 3 teeth and have good results. Also, you have to make sure that KTM's black throttle cam is in the twist grip. The reel determines how much throttle cable is being pulled as the grip is rotated, and the black one is the most aggressive. There's also the vented airbox cover, which comes with each bike and increases output across the board. No one complains about the way the KTM handles. This goes beyond the fact that it's so much lighter than the other 250s. It's 218 pounds without fuel. It turns well and it's stable. There's really nothing more you could ask, and clearly nothing that any of the other bikes in the 250 class offer. The only real glitch is in the suspension department. The Japanese 250s currently have an edge there. The exact fork, for all its excellent qualities and design and weight, hasn't really stepped up to the next level. WP's designed with a single compression air chamber and a self-filling balance chamber. It's simple and it's brilliant. But coil spring forks like that of the Yamaha consistently get better reviews for better comfort and response. The KTM fork isn't as stable through turns and doesn't offer the same cushy compliance on square edges or on slap landings. That said, the WP fork is excellent on rollers and big impacts. The fact that you can adjust air pressure so easily is a great benefit. It might even be a little too easy. Riders often mess around with it even when they don't have to. It also can be somewhat of a burden to have to monitor your air pressure on hot days or even to double check your levels after a brief period of storage. But come on, it's no more difficult than checking your tire pressure. A year ago, we were talking about the upcoming My KTM Bluetooth app. This was to be KTM's answer to the Yamaha Power Tuning app, which lets the owner change EFI settings in the field via a smartphone. In KTM's case, the connectivity unit was sold separately, but only a handful actually made it to dealers. The 2021 KTM 450 SXF came with the unit, but it fell short of expectations. We understand that the units for the 22 model will be made available eventually, and there have been hints of more extensive capabilities, but no official announcement has been made yet. KTM was the first company to ship 2022 models to dealers. Honda and Yamaha have yet to reveal their new offerings in the 250 class. Will either of these bikes be upset by the unchanged KTM? Stranger things have happened. Chances are that the class will remain as competitive as ever, and that the KTM will continue to be one of the more pro-oriented bikes. It remains one of the safest and most sophisticated bets in all of motocross. Be sure and check back at dirtbikemagazine.com as more 2022 models are revealed. And as always, check out our Instagram and Facebook pages for more news and information in the world of motocross, off-road, and racing.